Hi, this is Patrick Clark, and I'm right now equipped with a full backpack of gear that will take me for a week trip and will go down to about 20 degrees. My pack, the total weight is about 30 pounds and the base weight is about 20 pounds. So the extra weight is the food. So I'm going to show you how, just exactly what I have in my outdoor gear wardrobe. I'll take my pack off and set it down, and I'm going to unpack the pack as I explain what's in it. Okay, so right here, and I have 3 pockets on the outside, and the one that's in the middle, the biggest pocket, this is this is my tent. It's actually a 2-person tarp. It weighs 2 pounds, made out of ripstop nylon, but it would only be 1 pound if it was still nylon, which is better. So that's my tent tarp. And then this is my ground cloth slash poncho. And that weighs about 1 pound. And this is the pouch that would have water bottle, trowel, extra shoes, and anything like snacks and maps and things. So all of these outer pockets are good for stuff that you need to get to immediately while you're hiking. So the inside stuff, everything is encased in its own stuff sack. So this is my food. This is clothing. No. This is, let's see. Yeah, winter clothing. Extra winter clothing. This is my food kit. Cooking kit. This is fuel for it. Alcohol fuel. And here is just a ditty bag that has all my little extra things like toothbrush, pocket knife, things like that. This is for clothing. Actually, this is for clothing that I'm actually wearing. So part of my gear I'm wearing right now, and it's not packed in the pack. So this would be for putting this in whenever I have changed my clothes. I'm not wearing this kind of stuff. So right now, what's in this bag is my felt hat. So might as well put it on, right? So this hat is for rain and sun. And okay, so let's keep digging in here. So the next thing is some more food things. And the next thing, this is my first aid kit. And okay, now we're looking at where I get to this layer. Now this underneath this is clothes and backpack. So this is stuff that I don't need to get very often, usually only after I make camp. So in here is a stuff sack with clothes and with a backpack. And before I get that, I'm going to actually set up the tent so that you can see how my gear works together, because the gear actually, the gear and the wardrobe work together. So because, like, for instance, the poncho is used as a rain protection, and then it's also used as a ground cloth. So I am going to set up the tent, and then I'll get into this gear. Okay, here's my tarp tent all set up. It's pretty cool in there because it's got all this open air breeze, and yet very, very protected from rain for 2 people, and it only weighs 2 pounds, and that's with a heavy fabric. Now let's look at the wardrobe. So let's just start with like rain, like a rain strategy. So say, like, the worst case scenario, which you always have to plan for the worst case scenario first. So let's just say it's pouring down rain, and it's time to get to camp, and I got to pitch at camp. Okay, so I would be wearing my poncho, which is right here. I would be wearing my poncho, which is on the outside of my pack, which is easy to get. And I'm just going to put it on and act like it's raining while I do this. So my poncho, actually, it's not only a ground cloth and a poncho rain protector for me, but it's also a pack cover, so it protects my pack from getting wet. Okay, so it's just like, just imagine it's pouring down rain, and here I am, like, you know, getting to camp. I'm gonna throw my pack down on the ground so that I can start setting my tent up. I'm gonna grab my tent out of the middle pocket, and I'm gonna go over and start setting the tent up, like you see there. And it's going to be raining, and I need to be able to you know, protect the things that are vulnerable to rain, but some things aren't vulnerable to rain, and so they'll be the things that are in the outside pocket of my pack, and they're okay. I just let them get wet. I never try to keep those dry. The only thing that I try to keep dry is my clothes, and my extra clothes, and my sleeping bag. Okay, so here I am. I've got my tent set up. Then I'm gonna throw my pack in here, and in that case I would have all that gear would still be in my pack. I'm gonna throw my pack in here, and then once I'm in here, I'm out of the rain. So here I am. It's raining out there, and it's nice and dry in here, like a giant umbrella. And so then I'm gonna, like, you know, take off my wet clothes, and my poncho is gonna be, you know, soaking wet, and I'm gonna take it off. And so it's wet, but it's gonna be a ground cloth, which is, a ground cloth is gonna get wet anyway, so, you know, might as well just go with the flow here. And so I'll spread it out, and I will try to keep, I mean, I will keep the outside of the poncho on the ground. So the part that is going to go against my body is going to be the part that's facing up, because it will get muddy, because here we are, it's raining, and I'm pitching a tent on the ground where it was raining. It's going to be muddy, so I've got to use my gear appropriately. And the hole, there's a little, where the head hole goes, I just kind of push that over to the side like that to seal it up. But so here's the ground cloth poncho. Okay, so now let's talk about clothes. So what I'm wearing, this is what I'm wearing. This is a waxed cotton. This is a waxed cotton jacket. Now, is it rainproof? No, it's not waterproof, but it is wicking. That means the moisture will not stay in it. It will keep moisture out because the wax pushes the moisture out. So I wear it because for breathability, because if I was wearing a synthetic rain parka or windbreaker, I'm hiking along, I'm gonna get a lot of body heat, and then that's gonna heat up, and that's gonna cause me to sweat, and then I'm gonna get hot and wet instead of just plain old wet. So my strategy is, in most conditions, what I'll do is I'll wear either, just in the summer I'll wear just this, but when it's a little cooler I'll wear a merino base layer underneath this jacket. So let me show you this jacket a little bit. So this is it has a hood. I actually made this from just a recycled shirt from the Goodwill, a cotton shirt that was oversized, because I'm just experimenting with trying to get gear from natural fibers. So I just wanted to see what would happen if I took an oversized shirt and used it like a windbreaker type shell, outer shell. So I put a hood on it, and I put a zipper on it, and some hand pockets here, and waxed it. And I'm gonna have a blog post on exactly how I did this, so you can make one yourself. And so this is critical component of dressing, of the outdoor, rewilding my outdoor dressing, because now I'm not always having to have a piece of synthetic every time I just want to protect myself from the wind. I have something that's breathable. It's just so much more comfortable. It gives me so much more energy, because I'm just the right temperature. My body can maintain the right temperature, not get too cold or too hot. So, and then the poncho goes over this, and the reason I like that as opposed to a parka, like this is a parka, but a poncho is more like an umbrella. So with the hat being like an umbrella for my head, and then the poncho being an umbrella for my body, there's more ventilation under there than there is with wearing a parka right next to my skin that's synthetic under my body. So so the outdoor gear it's basically a 3-system layering system: your shell, your insulation layer, and your base layer. So my base layer, I'll put my clothes out for you to see them now. Okay, what we have here, my base layer, merino wool, and then my insulation layer is basically a layering system with 2 wool sweaters right there. And then my base layer, my bottom base layer right here, merino wool. And then I have another set of bottom base layer because one of these I'm going to be probably wearing, while I hike a lot of times, because especially if it's raining, and then I would keep that out of my dry clothes. Okay, so I have a merino bandana, and I have some wool socks here. I've got like maybe, depending on the type of trip, either 2 pairs. Like you're wearing 1 pair, you're wearing 1 pair, and then you have 1 pair that, say, you sleep with, that keeps you dry. You need dry all the time. And then, say, a 3rd pair would be like, that would be for so you can wash 1 pair and have the other one be drying. So 3 pairs of socks is kind of ideal. Okay, then I have a pair of shorts, merino wool shorts. Yeah. And then, let's see. So we have my shell, which I'm wearing, and and also part of the shell is the pants. So I'm wearing the pants that are included in my backpacking gear. And now what these pants are these are actually a lightweight cotton that's been waxed with beeswax, so that they're not waterproof, but they're moisture resistant wicking. So I would probably not wear these. Like if it was pouring rain, I would probably wear my merino base layer on the outside, and maybe my merino shorts on top of them, if when it's just raining, hiking in the rain. And that way everything that I'm wearing, it's getting wet, but it's wicking. But I would wear these for wind and when it's not raining. Okay, and then so that the shell layer, and then the insulation layer, which is the two sweaters, and then the base layer, which is another thin piece of merino, and then the bottom base layer. The bottom base layer is merino tights, which are I've got 2 sets of them. So now let's look at my hat. My hat is, this is a wool felt hat, and I added a drawstring with a cord to keep it on when it's windy. And so this is excellent for both wind and, it works in the wind because of the drawstring, and it's for rain and sun, and it can be crushed, and it doesn't lose its shape even when it's wet. So then the other piece of clothing let's look at is shoes. So then I've got these Zero shoes, no support. They're really good, from Zero Shoes, the Coalition model. I love them. I get a size larger. I wear about an 8.5, so I got a 9.5, so that'll fit with my thick wool socks, and it works perfectly. I love them. I also condition them with beeswax coconut oil mixture that I made. So there's the shoes, and the other shoes, I also bring a pair of super lightweight sandals that I made. So these are like a leather sole and a hemp strap. That they're really lightweight. They weigh just a few ounces, and they're great for some hiking. I hike in them part of the time. I hike a little bit barefoot, but I normally wear these when hiking. But these are good for some hiking and also for around camp. Okay, and then the next piece of clothing. The next thing is I'm going to show you what I do for an extra layer of warmth when I get to camp. And the thing about backpacking is if you can have each article of gear serve more than one purpose, that's the best by far. So the sleeping bag, it's just sitting there. You only use it when you sleep. Like, you're carrying it all this way, so why not use it as an extra jacket? So when I get to camp and it's winter and cold and I need some extra warmth, I'll put my sleeping bag around me. And the cool thing about the Lucky Sheep sleeping bag is it fits. It doesn't just, it's not a compromise. It's like it could have almost been designed for this, like a robe. And it has a way to attach so that it stays on, and you can move around and move your arms, and even sometimes do a little hiking down the trail. So it you just put it around your neck, because this little flap here makes it stay secure on you, and it's a really good way to sit around the campfire and be warmer. Use all your gear to its fullest. So That's what it looks like. So let's talk about like when it's time to break camp and in the worst case scenarios. Let's just say it's rainy, windy, and you could either say beautiful or miserable, whatever your perspective is. So how would the strategy, the rain strategy, so what I would do, I would pack my pack, and it would include first I would put all the dry stuff into the dry bag. So the sleeping bag and the clothing all go into a stuff sack. Then the pad, the sleeping pad goes into the pack to create the outer structure. Then the dry bag goes in that has the sleeping bag and the dry clothes. And then you seal that bag. Then you put on top of that all the extra stuff sacks. So that would be the food utensils, first aid kit, stuff like that. Then, and then on the outer pockets would go your tent. Of course, you can't put the tent until the very last. And your poncho, and you wouldn't really be packing your poncho because you're going to be wearing your poncho because it's pouring down rain. So how do you navigate that? So you pack your pack completely except for your poncho, which is also your ground cloth, and your tarp tent. So then you pack your pack and it's under your tent. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter because you're about to like take your tent down. So you put your poncho on and your hat, and you're wearing your whatever you wear for rain, like merino base layer. I would probably wear most of the time just the merino base layer and this waxed cotton jacket, and my poncho and my hat and my wool socks and shoes, leather shoes. And I'd be wearing that, run out, pick up the stakes, pack the tent up, fold it up, put it in the outer pocket of my backpack, and then I'd have to like throw the backpack on, and I would kind of like sit over the backpack with my poncho, pick it up and put it on inside my poncho. So then I'd be on the way.